Well, hello, boys and girls. On this week's Red Arrow Hunt Camp, I'm going to tell you about the time that me and my youngest daughter almost got eaten by an alligator. Now, this particular incident is going to hopefully be on the 2021 season of Red Arrow. We couldn't fit some of the shows into this season. We wanted to do 2 Florida shows in the next season, really big and awesome shows. And part of this show, I don't know. I mean, it's just too good not to share with you guys ahead of time. So we actually went out to Florida to do a hog hunt and a gator hunt. And on the gator side of things, we went down and we set out lines. And the idea is you put some bait on the hook, throw it out there, come back the next day, and you've got an alligator. Pull him in, shoot him in the head with a 22, and you got your gator meat and your hide and everything else. Well, I wanted to allow the kids to do this, so they were going to take turns helping pull in lines and shooting the gators and doing the whole thing. So my youngest daughter early that morning shot about a 6-7 footer. That was the first gator, and this is with this is licensed, and these are nuisance gators, and we're helping a trapper, a licensed trapper, get these gators out of these areas. And so we bring in the second line, and man, it's a great big old 10-11 footer. And my daughter Addison, this one's like thrashing out in the water and putting on this awesome fight, and Addison shoots him in the eye socket from the bank and smokes this thing with a 22 Magnum. Now, it's the last jug of the day, so we actually had some lines on the shore, and then we had jugs floating out in this pond. And it's the last one of the day, and I'm figuring, all right, the chances that this is a giant gator, I mean, it's probably just a typical size we've been killing, 6 to 8 feet. And so I'm like, hey, how do we get to these jugs? And the guy's like, oh, we got this John boat right here. So it's a 10-foot John boat, just a regular old aluminum John boat. And we've got a paddle. So manpower to get us out there with the paddle, going out in the John boat. And it's me and 2 other guys and my youngest daughter, Izzy. So it's 4 of us in the boat. We're paddling out there. She's having the time of her life. She already shot her first alligator. We're having a big time, right? We get to the jug, and my buddy starts pulling it up out of the water, and it's Bobby from Diamondback Firearms, and y'all might have seen him on the show before, but he's pulling it up, and all of a sudden, a head of an alligator about that big comes up out the water, and me and him look at each other like, we're going to need a bigger boat. And so my buddy, we call him Ho-Ho because he's from Christmas, Florida, but that's what they've called him all his life. But we look back at Ho-Ho, and this is business as usual, man. He's done this his whole life. Alligator, no big deal to him. But my young daughter's in the boat with us, and we're thinking we don't want to really be fighting this big old 12-foot alligator out here with the kid, and we're thinking and processing some of this, and the gator takes off and runs. He's pulling this 10-foot John boat, throwing wake at the back. You could have thrown an inner tube out back and had a heck of a time behind this John boat. This thing's throwing a wake. I've got my wife and my buddy Lucas filming us on the shore, and it's just a chaotic situation. And we didn't ever think to just let go and then come back. I don't know why we didn't think that. Maybe we're not that smart. But we're skiing behind this alligator, and Izzy starts crying. I mean, she's a little girl, and there's a giant monster pulling a tiny little boat with us in it, and she starts crying, and then it really gets bad. So we get the alligator, we get him in, and all you got to do is get him up to the surface and pop him in the brainstem with a 22 Magnum, and they're done. And we get him up, we're about to shoot him, his head's still underwater, and I got the gun in my hand. She was going to shoot the gator. It was her turn. But I said, hey, this is a little bit different situation. Let Daddy have the 22, and you sit with Mr. Brooks, and we'll get this thing done, right? Well, Bobby pulls the gator's head up. He doesn't quite come all the way out of the water, and I don't have a clear shot at his brainstem. And I can't get a shot, I can't get a shot. Well, the gator loses his mind and starts flipping and thrashing, and you can see the tail come up on one side of the boat, and his head's coming up on this side of the boat. He starts rolling underneath the boat, banging the boat all around. Poor Izzy's screaming. I turn around in the midst of all this. The gator goes back down for a minute, and it gets kind of calm. And I have to turn around and grab my daughter, and I say, y'all don't call child services on me, by the way. If you do, you have a fight on your hands that you don't want. So just don't even bother. It's our life. Let us live it. Anyway, so I've got Izzy, and I turned to Izzy, and I'm like having this father-daughter moment. I'm like, look, do you trust me? And she's like, through the tears, yeah. And I said, look, we're going to make it, but you got to let Daddy go kill this alligator. So you got to hang on to Mr. Brooks. He's going to take care of you. You hold on to him real tight, and Bobby and Daddy are going to kill this gator so we can get back to shore. Well, we pull the gator up, and he starts rolling again. Can't get a shot at his head, can't get a shot at his head. He rolls over, snaps the boat, bites a hole through the boat. Water starts shooting up through the boat like a darn cartoon. And now we've got an angry 12-foot alligator. Our boat is sinking in the middle of, like, land's clear, like way over yonder. And other gators are starting to pop up because of all the commotion, like, hey guys, what's going on? And so now it's like life and death for real. We get this gator up out of the water, boom, sink around in his head. He goes to flopping again, pull him up, boom, boom, 2 more rounds for good measure. Now this gator is lights out dead. I get to go back to my daughter, try to calm her down. We start paddling for the shore, towing a 12-foot alligator, and our boat is sinking fast. So we're blowing out rotator cuffs, just paddling for the shore, man. And we finally make it back where the boat's got about this much. We make it back to shore. We all pile out of the boat, and my daughter is just like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She's just like catatonic. She can't say anything. She can't talk. She doesn't know what. That lasted about 5 minutes before she was doing cartwheels and taking selfies with the big 12-foot alligator that her and her daddy killed. So that was my story about how me, my daughter, my friends, and a 10-foot John boat almost got eaten by a 12-foot alligator.